This June, head to South Australia to run the 4th edition of the McLaren Vale Marathon, South Australia's premier marathon event. With a new race hub in the centre of town and an improved flatter course, you can look forward to some fast racing through the heart of the McLaren Vale wine region with the usual exceptional race experience you have come to expect from the great southern runs. If you've been looking for a reason to visit South Australia, this is it. Welcome to episode number 377 of the Inside Running Podcast. A massive thanks for being with us for another week. Big show coming at you this week. We've got Houston half marathon results to go through. Some big results there from the Australians. Some state 5K championships. Some marathons release their elite field as well, which will give us something to talk about. Listener question, Moose on the Loose. I'm going to bring you some whispers as well. Welcome to my co-host. He's up in Canberra. The man who came third at the 2017 Canberra Marathon, Bradley Croker. How are you this week?
Not too bad, Brady. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
So you come back from Queensland and you're topless tonight?
Topless because it's 35 degrees in Moama at the moment and my air conditioner makes a lot of noise. So I'm just looking after the listeners here and looking after you two. We have a good view of my rig for the next 60, 90 minutes, Croaks.
Also, Brady, do have a bone to pick with you.
With
you
me?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
You say, boys, going up north for a family holiday, need to take the week off podcasting.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, I see a screenshot of your Instagram going, oh yeah, boys, have a listen to this. Been on a competitor's podcast while you're up there.
The Journeyman podcast, yeah, I just helped out. Well, it was Jordo McLennan. I'm going to talk about him a bit in my weekly recap, but he's one of our, we had him on our Inside Running podcast team years ago. He's a very good guy, Croak. So when he asked me if I could go on the podcast, he asked me a while ago and I said, wait till school holidays. And then he asked me in school holidays and I said, I'll actually be up there, so maybe we can do something in person. So it happened to work. And I heard you've been whinging, actually, about not having any weeks off the podcast. So it's good for you to have a week off now and then, and you kind of rejuvenate a bit, and then you get to do these kind of little things where you can talk to different people, and you get to be a listener of our podcast, which is kind of fun. I enjoyed Leanne last week. And I will welcome you as well, Moose, the Bogon the Hotham course record holder. Welcome to you to episode 377.
Thanks, mate. I think I'm with Croaks on this one. I mean, you're out
just helping out a mate.
No. You've taken the week off.
Promotional tour.
I don't take a week off from my store and go and work in someone else's store.
It's true. That's a valid point.
Or you don't take a job off from temp teaching and go and teach at another school, do you?
Yeah, true. I'm not a temp. I'm a classroom teacher. I've been for the last couple of years.
Yeah, same difference.
Do temp hours. But yeah. No, it was fun. I got some stories about up north, boys, which we'll get into. But hey, you two carried the show last week with Leanne, and then what about the week of content? Andre Lagersh, Croaks, that's going to go big. That interview, fantastic interview, and then Shoe Geeks Moose as well. That was a good episode as well.
Been a while in the making. I did listen to Andre. Thought that was good. Geez, he can talk well. He has done that a few times, I reckon.
Good talker. Good looking rooster too, isn't he?
He's pretty. He's one of those real, like the real wealthy Melbourne crew that have a holiday house down here. So he rolls down. I don't know whether he's got a Porsche or a Tesla or something, but he rolls down on probably a Friday night, spends a day and Saturday. You didn't even ask him. I forgot to tell you about this. He told me he went surfing the other day, and I'm like, oh, cool. Where'd you go? And he's, I went down to Fairhaven. And I said, oh, what do you ride? Like, what size board do you ride? And he goes, oh, no, I'm in a surf ski. I'm a goat boater. So if you remember back in the 70s, there used to be this sort of craze where these short, surfing surf skis were a thing. And he'd be the only one, I reckon, on the whole coastline now that still uses one. Super dorky kind of
Well, he
sport.
said he was a slalom kayaker.
Yeah, I know.
Like in his
He's
younger
obviously
years.
pretty good at it. I'm not saying he's not good at it. I'm just saying it's the dorkiest, nerdiest thing to do in the water these days.
I reckon he's one of those people that's pretty good at whatever he decides to do.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty good on a long run still. Not dropping him lately. I'm certainly not dropping him, but no one's really dropping him lately.
That was good.
I enjoyed that chat.
Did you
was
listen
good.
to it while you were running, Moose?
No.
It was a bit scary listening to it while I was running. I'm just like, is this good for me? Like, you know, you just start thinking about, it's like when someone asks you, like, what do you do with your breathing while you're running? And you're like, I've never thought about that until you start thinking about it, and then you can't get your breath right. Scary stuff, some of that stuff. Correct.
Don't you have a colleague, actually, that tapes over his mouth while he runs?
No, I do not have a colleague. Not at Echuca Primary School, no.
What about
I know what
your
you
other
are.
job?
Run to PB, also no. Not sure what you're talking about. Let's move on pretty quickly. Who's recapping their week first, boys? Krogs, you got an injury. Bad week from you on Strava. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's an injury, but it's I'm just being super conservative, really. Let me just bring up my Strava. Yes, I came off the Sunday run, which I got through 90 minutes, and it was like sore for the last half an hour, like not 8 or 9 out of 10 sort of pains, like probably 4, 5, then maybe goes back to 2. But it was sort of at that point where I'm like, December's my goal this year. I may as well just sacrifice the first part of the year to get myself 100% so that I can actually train the way that I want to train, as opposed to, rolling my 110K weeks, but constantly sort of having maybe 3 days where I'm not sure whether I'll be running the next day. So I took Monday and Tuesday off. I was and like Tuesday I went out to the group session at the track, but it was like super hot, and I was just like, I think I'll just go out and coach rather than go for a run. So I took the first 2 days off. The track was like packed. They every January they have like an AIS walks camp here. So like Brent Valance was there and Jared Talent as coaches, and it was pretty much like the who's who of Australian race walking was like rolling around the AIS track for a session. So that was pretty cool to see. My first run for the week was Wednesday. Let me just get it. Hang on. I have to cut this bit, Brady. I wasn't quite prepared.
7.8K, 428s around the Yarrabee Pond, Croaks.
Yeah, so I went out that morning and it was bloody hot. Like I ran pretty early, or not super early, like 8 o'clock or something like that. But it was one of those days where it was already pretty warm and humid. So 428 is not super quick, and I only ran for 35 minutes. But I was pretty happy to stop after that one.
428, though, when it is super hot, is kind of quick.
But I'm only running 35 minutes.
There's always an excuse here, Moose.
And an Achilles.
And coming off a two-day
actually, it's not that bad.
Break.
Heart rate, my average heart rate was 136. That's all right. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
But I was like no pain running at all. And so that was sort of my goal this week, was whatever I do, I want to run and not basically get to the point where I start to develop the pain. And so the previous weeks it had been probably from like 45 minutes to 50 minutes onwards that, I'd start developing some sort of awareness. So, that was Wednesday. Thursday, got out for another shortish run. What was that one, Brady? Where is it?
That was same thing, 8.3K at 426s. Pretty much identical to the day before, but this time you're in mulligans.
Did mulligans. Yep. Once again, I was completely fine pain-wise, so 36 minutes. And then I decided that I was going to jump on the treadmill. That's right. I don't know if you guys got like crazy winds down where you are, but it got so windy like back end of the week, and I'm just like, I couldn't be asked going out in that. So I also thought like the treadmill's quite good because you can control everything. It's like, okay, I know I'm not going to run too fast on the treadmill. I'm not running up hills, which obviously is not great for the Achilles. So anyway, I jumped on, did 50 minutes, basically watched YouTube. So I watched like a Jake Whiteman clip, or like a 20-odd minute sort of, and then the road to Houston half documentary with Connor Mantz and Joe Klecker. So those two combined got me about 50 minutes. Just had the treadmill on 12K an hour. Heart rate would have been like low 130s, I'm guessing. And then the next day, so what was that, Saturday, got out for another 50 minutes on the treadmill. Same thing, like no pains. I'm stopping these runs well before I sort of get any pain. So it's definitely improving. Like, it's not a sore to touch, but I'm happy just to keep jogging until, I don't know, probably February. Because I know I've mentioned it a few times now, but 2022, I basically was just starting to jog again after a calf and COVID. And so although I haven't run much the last 2 weeks, I'm significantly fitter than I was this time in 2022. And by May, I was running 30:30 at Sydney 10 and I ran 2:23 at the Gold Coast. And my goal is being fit in December. So I'm happy to be patient at this point.
Yeah. It's good you got the December thing locked in and you can kind of plan your year around it.
Yeah.
It's like every time you think about rushing, it's like, wow, it's 11 months away.
Yeah. And also, like, when you've had experiences of coming back from injuries and you can see that, you can go from being fairly unfit to like really fit in 2 to 3 months. So it gives you confidence to be patient when you've done that before. Because the last thing I want is basically have like month on, month off, month on, month off for the next 6 months. Like that's not going to get me my best marathon result in December. Like, I want to have a good solid block of like 7 months. And for me to get a good 7 months, I need to be healthy before I start that 7-month block.
It is kind of crazy that you're talking about a December race, though. I could feel that's a long way away.
Yeah, which it's another reason why I think sometimes we're always so caught up on short-term goals, and that then probably influences us getting back into things when maybe you shouldn't, because you're thinking short-term, whereas I'm thinking a bit more long-term. But I still plan on racing between now and December.
Yeah, always thinking about Moose is that Australian 45-plus record. It's the only thing he's thinking about, this fella.
Look, we know Croaks can get fit very quickly. But you remember this, Brady, and this is something Croaks probably doesn't forget about very often, is he'd already run probably 5,000 Ks by the time we were born. So he's got so much more mileage on those legs. And it's a good thing and a bad thing. It means that he can get to that sort of level probably quicker without as much mileage, but it also means there's wear and tear on that old body. And those Achilles, this is probably the 25th Achilles injury he's ever had. So, what scares me though, Moose, is it's a different Achilles injury. Like, I've never had this one. I've always had some some mid tendon pain. I had some like sheath inflammation, which I had that was before Berlin, so I had a cortisone and that settled that one down. Whereas this one's a little bit different, and the age factor does come into it, because I feel like now if I have one of these injuries that I know can, even for young people, like an insertional Achilles thing can take ages to get rid of. I'm not young, so it's probably going to take me even longer if I don't respect it. So I am sort of factoring the age into it in terms of not rushing back. Yeah, well, you just got to have faith in your ability to get fit, which you are. I mean, you can easily, like you just said, 30:30 in May, I believe.
And I was literally doing 5 minutes on the treadmill with 90-second walk, and my heart rate was hitting close to 160 doing that. Yeah. This time in 2022.
Yeah. And we often talk about it on the monthly, but the natural talent as well, Moose. Like,
I know, born with it.
Just put a month into this guy and he's flying again.
Born with it. He's just a head start on us all.
So 36K a week.
Good work. And it actually surprises me that you are so relaxed about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you're not like real high strung. You're just like, nah, I'm all good. I'm just taking my time. Like, the Croaks of old would have been real high strung about this shit.
Yeah, it's rare for me, because in the past I've either been like all in like training, or just completely injured, not running at all. But like, I'm actually like really motivated, and I guess I'm staying at this stage positive. But maybe in 2 months' time, if I'm still having the same issues, then I'm probably getting a bit more pissed off and a bit more frustrated. But at the moment, I'm like, got plenty of time. Don't need to rush things. Like we're going away on Wednesday up to like northern New South Wales for a wedding. So it's like, well, this is a perfect time to sort of not have to actually train hard. So and kill myself in the heat up there. So yeah, I'm all good. I'll hopefully be back doing some light sessions in Feb.
Where you going? Where's this holiday?
Kingscliff.
Is that the Gold Coast?
No, it's pretty much like just south of Tweed Heads.
Ah.
You fly into the Gold Coast?
Yeah, flying the Gold Coast. No, flying the Gold Coast. So we're up
Nice.
there, fly out Wednesday, back Sunday.
What did you pick there for?
Wedding.
Viv's school friend's getting married on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. So it's just a quick, yeah.
You can't control where they get married.
Yeah. You can choose to go or not.
That'd be good, Croaks. I've got some mates up there I can hook you up with to go for some runs with if you want. A couple of locals, look after you.
I think you just cut out then? Did you cut out, Moose?
Am I cutting
No.
out, Moose?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. It must have been me.
Canberra internet. What have you been doing though, Moose? You had a good week. Good Sunday as well.
Can you believe that I ran more than someone else this week?
Didn't have that on my bingo card on New Year's
No,
Day.
me either. Not even on Sunday Arvo. Not even until right then. I was like, Croaks, you're at 30-something K. I'm the second best runner on this podcast right now. But I only ran 56. But yeah, a bit more than you. Monday, I've still struggled with this sciatica, so I'm actually getting a scan tomorrow just to see if there's anything more specific we can learn to treat it a little better, because I've gone through some conservative treatments now and it hasn't really improved it at all. And it's just starting to drain me mentally, because it's not just running. If it was just running, I'd probably be able to get my head around it, but it's all facets now, like wake up, have trouble like working. It's just really annoying. And a lot of people have written in the comments of my Strava or on Instagram telling me they've had it and what's worked for them. So I've decided to get a scan, see what's up with it, if it's where the nerve impingement or where the compression might be, and then if there's anything we can do about that. So that'll be tomorrow. Because, yeah, so this week, 33 minutes on Monday. Just getting bored running around the top, so I've thrown a few hills in. Tuesday, ran 10K around town. Had Wednesday off. I was on the train Wednesday morning, went up to Melbourne. Went to the launch of the Hoka Bondi 9, which is one of the most famous running shoes out there, one of the biggest selling shoes. I think it is the biggest selling women's shoe in the US, the Bondi 9. It's like the shoe that made Hoka famous with its high stack midsole and rocker. Have you guys ever worn a Bondi?
Never wore a Hoka pair of shoes in my life.
Neither have I. Croaks, when I knew you were going to this thing, Moose, I was like, yeah, it's one of the brands I've never touched.
Well, I said this to a few of their marketing crew, that I reckon they're very popular with the new runner, the beginner runner, very popular now with the younger run clubber. So this sort of new age type runner, I guess we'll call it. But the established runner, I feel, doesn't maybe view them as credible as the other running demographics out there. And they'd probably do well to start to gain some credibility in the area. Perhaps if they looked after some people up the front of some races, so that we saw their shoes on the feet of people that run a lot or that run fast or elite. We saw them in some Australian teams out there, but we don't at the moment. So I reckon that's something they could do a little better. But the shoe is updated. 2 years ago it updated, so it's just updating again now.
So Moose, talk us through that. So what was your role there? You were like MC, hosting, few influencers getting
dog.
around. Talk us through it.
Well, they didn't put a title on it, but if I was going to put a title on it, I would say I was the master of ceremonies, the director of operations on the day, lead model, perhaps, lead shoe model. But yeah, probably those three things.
A few big names getting around. Did Rob Mills turn up?
unsure. Don't know what he looks like. So
Wasn't like Miss Universe there as well? You knew her, Croaks? One of the...
Viv. Well,
Viv knew her. Yeah.
Yeah, Viv knew her. No, because I showed Viv the list, and she's like, "Oh, isn't that like Miss World Australia or someone like that?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." But I knew Rob Mills because I knew that he dated like Paris Hilton at one point. So I was like, "I'm just throwing a Paris Hilton gag for Millsy."
No, I recognise the name, and I do remember the story, but I don't know what he looks like. So he might have been there. Yeah. I was just there to interview the president of Hoka Global. So she's from the US. She lives in Oregon, where their headquarters are. She used to work for Nike for 17 years. Her name was Robin Green. So she's out here on a bit of a launch tour of the shoe. They did their Melbourne store is their biggest store, so it makes sense to do it here.
How nervous were you? Scale of 1 to 10.
4.
Nah, bullshit. You were way more nervous than a 4. It's a big job you were doing.
Yeah. So interestingly, when you interview for a podcast, you pretty much got free reign at it. You got free swings at all the questions. No one's keeping you in check or anything.
Yeah.
But I had a scripted interview that was given to me, and the idea was that I was supposed to read these questions, and she had answers written down for her as well. And I thought, this is a little bit vanilla. This is a little bit boring and robotic. So I just tweaked a few, and then I ran it by them, and they said, yeah, you can ask that. No, don't ask that. Make sure you ask this. Oh, we've cut out these 2 questions now, so don't ask them. But then I got to meet Robin about 5 minutes before the interview, and we had a good chat. We actually have mutual friends that live in Oregon and work for Nike. So we got a little bit of a connect beforehand, and it turned into a very smooth, informal. I thought it went really well. I thought it was good. I managed to ask questions that perhaps weren't written down for me. But I think it was good. I had a few little stories about how I first interacted with the brand, and so I reckon it went well.
Oh, good work. It sounds like he did a good job. Was getting paid a big amount too, Croaks, wasn't he? Like a big job. All my public speaking gigs put together would never equate to what he got for one morning.
It's probably why he ran at 11 o'clock today. I reckon he's packed in. He's packed in the old running company.
Done pretty well.
Give Toby a few more shifts.
No, that's not how it went down, actually. They were just screaming out for someone, and so I just pretty much self-sacrificed from this group of 3 of us.
Well, you'd be a perfect man for the job. Like, you're good at talking, you know the shoes. Like, Croaks and I couldn't do that job because it'd be like, we got no idea about.
Yeah, never worn a pair of your shoes, but tell us about them.
My name's Brad Croak. I've never purchased a pair of your shoes ever, but I've been running for 25 years.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't have been ideal. That I had to do a welcome to country. It's the first time I've ever done that, and it wasn't the traditional welcome to country. There were some pretty intricate words in there, so that's the one thing I was actually really nervous about. So I practiced that. On the train on the way up a few times.
Oh, good
got
work.
it done. I think I got it done. There's some big words.
Any complaints you would have heard them by now, I reckon.
Yeah, I hope so. But no, it was fun. I liked it. I actually enjoyed doing it. That was Wednesday. I didn't run. Thursday, ran in the Bondi 9. Funnily enough, when I put it on, I'm like, oh, it's a bit soft for me. And then ran in it and thought, maybe soft as you'll go now. I run very differently to how I ran 6 months ago. Just my gait is different. I have, I think, a shorter stride. I run slower. So the different shoes are working differently for me at the moment, and I like this. I went about 45 minutes around town. Next day, I thought, time to throw something in here. I'm going to do some surges on my run. So I got out in the morning, had 40 minutes, decided to do a little bit of a surgy type fartlek thing. I didn't want it to be a workout as such. I did an old school type sort of run where you find this, like a landmark ahead, and I just ran to it. And then I made sure that my pace was, my heart rate was dropping enough before I started the next one. And I this made me feel like a runner again. I've only jogged since coming back, and I jog slow. So I haven't sort of felt any type of pace in the body, or I haven't mechanically turned over faster than 4 minutes a K at all. So I did 15 minutes for a jog. I think I took the dog out, maybe dropped him back, went for a little small little warm-up after that, and then I got into some. So the rep distances, I didn't go above 50 seconds. That was the longest one I did. I went up a hill, went down a hill. The hardest rep for me was probably the one up a hill where I ran 4:07 pace, but the gap was 3:14 pace. So I was going faster than what I thought I was going while I was out there. And then I ran into Jack Werrett, who was down with his brother Liam. They're staying in town, and Jack was jogging, so I jogged back to his accommodation with him, and then I realised where I was in relation to my house. And if you've got my Strava up, have a look at this fucking hill that I've run up to get home. The gradient on it gets up to 36 or something. Like, it's one of the biggest hills you'll ever run up in your life. It only goes, so the segment is golf course Mother Bitch. And if you're ever on Strava and you see a segment with Mother Bitch at the end, like that's the segment I made. So I made I did that so that I knew which segments that I had created back in like 2014 or whatever when Strava started. I would go and create segments out there on some of the bigger hills, and I would call it Mother Bitch so that I knew that I'd made it. So this here is, how far is this? 400 meters, but it goes up 57 meters, and the average gradient is 13.6. But as you go along, like I'm looking at some areas here of 36%, 36.7% is the steepest bit. I'm running 11 minutes a K at that point, and my heart rate's 162 beats. So the gap pace on it, for me, like I went up it in 7 minutes 50, gap pace 3:49. This is steep, boys. Like Brady, you would shit yourself if you saw this.
Yeah, that's my weekly. That's like 3 weeks of mileage for me.
In one run.
Yeah, in a K in 400 metres.
Yeah, the next Arvo, got home a bit early. I can't remember why. What did I come home early for on this day? I don't remember. But I jumped on the bike with...
You made a heap of money at the Hoka thing during the week.
That's not why, Croaks. There must have been something going on, and I got home. What did have happened last week? You know, I'm so busy, Croaks, that sometimes I forget what goes on in my life. Yeah, whatever. Got out the fam on the bike. Got this, whiz bang bike. Brady's seen it, but cruised along. Ran. Bree and Pia were next to me. That was fun. Felt like I was in a group run again. Showed all the old sites where I used to swing off the bridge down at the river. All these cool stuff. And then Sunday. So Sunday we met Bree's family at the Uis. The Uis, let me just start by saying the Uis should be the place where anyone who's training for Great Ocean Road, New York Marathon, Boston Marathon, Sydney Marathon, City to Surf, anywhere where there's a hilly event, if you're in Geelong or you're in the west side of Melbourne, you should be going to the Uyangs and running around there because it is an absolute mecca for long runs. It's got a great circle drive, which is about 12.8 K around, I think it is. And it goes over some proper hills, about 270 meters of climbing in one lap. But there's decent runnable stretches in here where you can get going on a slight downhill, and then there's some long flats on other areas. It's just a real blue collar long run area. Now, Croaks, you know what I'm talking about, this type of area. Brady, he doesn't know about this.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't know.
Ellie's farm, mate. Colbo, Corop. I get down there.
Yeah, maybe. I'll have to see that before I judge it.
And my hometown is where the Australian record holder for the marathon runs. Like, my parents live at the bottom of those hills. I know hilly long runs. I just don't do them because I don't live there anymore.
Yeah, it is. There's probably spots like this in Bendigo. That farming joint, there was actually a fair bit of climbing around there.
Not this much, though. Not this much.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're getting 270 a lap. I think I was getting 400 for like 2 hours.
It's not that much more then.
Yeah.
Maybe. Anyway, it's just really good. And to give you an indication of how we used to run it, so I was pretty interested to see some of my last efforts and how I compared, because I didn't really have pace or anything on. But there's this segment here, Wawa Hill. I didn't create that because there's no mother bitch on it. I didn't need to create it. It was already created when I started running there. But I've been up at my efforts. View my efforts. I'll click on it here. I've been up at...
You're 12th on the leaderboard. Nath Pearce, number 1. Brett Robertson, number 2. Jack Rader, number 3. Matt Gunter, number 4. Gunter's in good territory.
You know what? These would have been poached, these records, I reckon.
Jordan Williams, number 6. Ryan Geard, number 8. This is the who's who of like Australian running. James Coleman and Liam Cashin, 9. And then you're 12th.
Shit. I thought I was going all right up there.
Yeah, do you want me to cut this out?
But no, this is what so my PR up there is 446. I've been up there 27 times, and this effort was the slowest that I've ever been up at in 27 times, and I averaged 5:38, but the gap pace on it was something like, where's my gap pace? The gap pace was 3:41.
Yeah.
And so that's the slowest that I've ever been up this hill. So you can imagine when you're getting after it, like I don't care who's got the record
so
anymore.
It's 100 meters of elevation in a K, it says here.
Yeah, it's not crazy, the hill. It's just crazy how fast we run it. So if I go on segments and I look at the like my crack at it, it's 3:07 gap pace going up it when I ran 4:45 pace. So it's steep, but it's not crazy. You can get going. Anyway.
So was this the plan that you were going to go out there, run an hour? Like you've averaged 4:35s over hills. Like this is kind of a workout for you.
Yeah,
heart rate's pretty good, 147.
It is a bit. 147, it couldn't get it down after I went up that hill. That hill just ended me. I was going all right until then, but it got hotter when I was out there. So I just kept running. Like I just continued home. Felt like I was getting some good movement through my hips and my backs, covering it slightly better. But the heart rate wouldn't go down after that. So yeah, 4:35, fastest run I've done in ages. Longest run I've done in ages. Heart rate was up. Didn't struggled a bit, but that's just how it is right now.
What is it? Longest run and fastest run in a long time, and you're surprised why it was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also love how it was your fastest run, but also like your hilliest.
Hilliest, fastest, longest. And
all together.
And now booked in for a scan.
Well, when I'm out there, I was just thinking, I actually haven't ever run out here when I haven't been really fit. I've only ever come here when I'm fit. And this place is a fucking different zoo when you're unfit.
Yeah.
It is like another planet. And
Yeah.
I now feel, I'm feeling what everyone that I ran with in those group long runs was feeling when I used to destroy them up that hill and look back and wonder, why aren't these fuckers getting fitter? Well, push a bit harder on this. It's okay to push hard. And now I'm up there just slowest time ever, absolutely gassing myself thinking, oh boy, I was a bit harsh on some people back in the day.
It's just different levels, isn't it? It's like always do the training to be able to do the training to be able to do the training. Like that's what I've realised the last couple of months trying to get back fit again. You're like, when you lose or you get injured or lose a bit of momentum, getting it back going again is quite difficult.
You got to be patient, don't you?
You do. Well, your goal has to be just like survive the week almost. Like just get the week done, and then that just a layer. Like don't worry about anything, super sexy or impressive on Strava.
That's how I'm looking at this whole block, is just keep running so that your heart gets used to running, just bangs away, enough where it becomes a little bit less of a bang at the same velocity, and stack enough bricks where your body becomes healthy again, but you've got this base that you can start to build off. So I'm just making sure that when the body comes good, the heart's ready to go. And I don't think I can increase too much right now, but I'll just keep going like this because it'll get me fit, just stacking a few weeks, 60K weeks on top of each other.
I think there's a good lesson in that, but replace getting fit with summer. So just survive summer. We got 5 more weeks of summer, especially for people running, Ballarat, London, Wollongong, Canberra are all around the same time. And if you're looking at your trainer now in 20 degrees and going, oh, I'm not feeling real good, just wait till, March and it's 12 degrees or 8 degrees in the mornings or whatever and go out for some of those workouts. And I guarantee if you be patient now, that will pay dividends and you'll be fit at the right time, or you'll feel more comfortable at those paces at the right time.
Yeah, the heat is underestimated, I reckon, especially if you're only coming back and you only know heat.
Yeah.
And it's we're going to start running again, come back off Valencia or whatever, and you just start running and it's 25 degrees and hot. You're probably much further ahead than you think you are.
Yeah, you're just not seeing it yet in your splits.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll tell you some stories about the heat, boys. Do you want a bit of a recap of where I've been?
Tell us, mate. I didn't listen to the pod yet, so you're going to have to tell us on this podcast if that's all right.
Okay. Didn't want to give them the one download. Stay away from competitors.
You got to. You can't be pumping up competitors. You don't know how big they're going to get.
Yeah,
one day they might be
too.
competing for the same sponsorship deal as us, Brady.
Yeah.
You got to end that shit now. You can't even let them. You can't let them breathe.
Squash them early.
Yeah,
that's what you told me. That's what you told me when you found out I went on there. You should have squashed them. What did you say? Do you think Nike go around helping out their competitors or something like that? I did spend the first week in Brisbane, boys, and I loved it. Have you guys been to Brisbane with kids?
No.
Oh, get up there. That South Bank up there with that man-made beach, and there's a massive playground next to it. And our kids are at the age where if you go to the pool and a playground and get an ice cream, that's like going to a theme park. They loved it up there, and I was surprised. It was like a big country town, Brisbane, I thought. Everyone was so friendly and just, yeah. I was really surprised with how good Brisbane was. They've got 50-cent public transport in the whole state, I think it is. So you get on that boat and go down to, we went down to Bluey's World. That was good. About an hour on the boat down on the river there.
What do they got there?
It's like their house. You walk into the house and then at the end you get about 20 seconds for your kids to get a photo with Bingo and Bluey. And then they charge you to buy the photo, that kind of vibe. But it was
There's no rides or anything?
No, it's meant to be this interactive, you go into the first room and there's this fairy kind of explaining this is what your task is. We've got to go around the house and find these special things. But they didn't do a great job of delivering that. So you walk into the first room and you're in groups of 15, you book a time, and the 15 kids just go psycho, just trying to turn the place upside down. No one's listening to this fairy at all. And then the kids are wondering what you're doing for the next half an hour as you walk around the house. So with my school teacher hat on, I'm probably could have sat all the kids down, got them calm, and then explained what the actual task was. But it was good. Our kids enjoyed it. Did a bit of running up there with Aidan Hobbs on the track. He looked after me up there, which was good. Long time listener to the show. Very similar.
Still real upset with the parkrun thing.
Got him going about parkrun. He had some good points. This is parkrun, letting go of the records and the stats and stuff. So
I think did he start a petition?
Oh, I'm not sure if he started a petition, but we did have a conversation, and I'm interested. I had this in my whispers for later on as a talking topic, but is parkrun good for athletics, boys? Because his example was Queensland cross country will have 8 people. But, I went to the parkrun at South Bank and it had 890 people. Is athletics actually benefiting from parkrun at all?
No.
No, it never has. And why should it? Parkrun's not out there to benefit the local or the state athletics board, are they?
Yeah, well, I guess it's just another thing in the running space, isn't it? I feel like our sport gets pulled in so many different directions.
But is that it's a tricky one because cross country the same sport as parkrun?
And is parkrun the same sport as road races?
Is parkrun a race?
Well, shit, man. This was 890 people. I went to the parkrun on the Saturday morning, and I'm like, when is, like, I think Albert Park had over 1,000. They broke the record as well in the weekend. 1,300, yeah. Like, when is it too many? Because it's like, you're not shutting the path fully. You got 800 people going in one direction, people walking dogs coming the opposite way. Like, there was 2 bits of the course when it was, like, out and back. So you got people, like, coming at you as you're going, and you're like, I was starting to think about, like, yeah, when does parkrun become, like, good for the active community but bad for the general public out on those same paths at that time of the day? Because if I was walking a kid in a pram and 890 people come towards me, I'd be like, well, I'm not coming here again. This is a bad experience for me.
Yeah, it's probably outgrown itself, really. I don't think they would be ever expecting to have that type of numbers there. I'm not sure parkrun pays for, like, the facility use. So let's say 800, like, there's 1,300 people down at Albert Park. They got 4 toilets, maybe 5 for that many people, plus the people that are there anyway, plus, just the general public or the workers in the area. That is facilities getting overrun right there. And I think they had 40 volunteers or something to get it done. So they're still getting people to manage it. But yeah, it's a lot of people. Maybe they should split it into, like, multiple runs, like an 8 o'clock and a 9 o'clock and a 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah, like, how are you walking a dog around Albert Park at 8 a.m. when 1,300 people are coming towards you on that path?
Yeah, it's public use still. You're sharing the path.
Yeah.
And you can't really share it with that many people.
Well, that's where I think they'll get in trouble. That it's like, hey, this was good, it's public use when it was 300 people, but, like, 1,300 people, like, maybe you got to start applying for permits or, like, pay to close the road on the outside. And I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how it goes. Bushy Park probably has more than that. Like, the UK have probably been through this years ago. But anyway.
Isn't it interesting, though, because, like, I believe that, like, if you're a personal trainer and you're using, like, these public resources, parks and things like that, often you have to pay a fee to be able to use it. Whereas parkrun, they're getting way more than what a personal trainer would have in that area, and basically just free for all.
They're not for profit, though.
Yeah, not benefiting financially. Off the space.
But still, that many people, though, like, still, as you said, Moose, putting a strain on those resources for the general public, like.
But it's good for the general public as well. Like, it's getting people exercising. Anyway, I thought that was interesting because our one's like 150 people, 200 max kind of thing. So I ran that with Phil. Phil's a long-time listener to the show. You guys know Phil. Did some 400s on the University of Queensland track up there as well. And then we headed down to Broadbeach. So jumped in with the Gold Coast boys for their long run. Got Jacko Elliott out, boys. I thought he must have been doing a lot of long runs, but the boys were explaining like they hadn't seen him for 6 months. And then he come out for this one, did 2 hours with us. He was blowing a bit by the end of it, but just hammering rain for the whole 2 hours. But, like, pleasant, you know, when it's like a bit hotter up there and then when it rains it actually cools you down a bit. It was, like, much better than the running conditions we had, like, after this day, which I didn't think was at the time.
You ever been to Queensland and it hasn't pissed rain?
2 days it hammered rain for, and one of the days probably, this was out of 9 days, one of the days only for like 2 hours. So I reckon we got pretty lucky. But it knows how to rain up there.
Every time I go to Queensland, it's terrible weather. It's a hoax. Like, everyone says holiday in Queensland, go to the beach. Like, you know, we go to the Gold Coast. It pisses rain, like, every single time we've been there.
Yeah.
Windy as. Yeah. It's no good.
They're hard on you. They don't like how you bag out the running up there, Gold Coast boys. They got some good banter, those fellas, too. I met your mate up there. What was your mate's name? Was Josh McKenzie?
From
he said he was a Geelong boy.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that we're mates. Like, he came to a long run once.
Oh.
God, he's got a real bromance, doesn't he, with these Queenslanders?
Quite, yeah.
It's sick, to be honest, mate.
Friggin'
Banter was strong up there.
5 minutes into your recap and you've dropped about 50 names.
Do you know what?
A few more written down here as well.
This is not painting a very good picture for the local Echuca crew that you hang out with. If you fall in love with these boys so quickly like this, it's almost like you don't value your own mates in Echuca.
Value my mates, the two of them that I have here, Archie and his dad. It's very slim pickings for training partners here. But that was good.
They're very funny, are they? They're funny guys?
Funny. Looked down at my watch on the 2-hour run. First time I looked at my watch was like 55 minutes in. I'm like, how good's this? Banter. It had some good stories. It's heaps of shit I can't repeat on the podcast, but yeah, some real good banter up there. Told me some good whispers. Talking about your mate, Ned Brockman, a bit, Croaks. Had some good stuff on Ned. Bit of AFL chat. It was good.
What do they got on Ned?
Oh, got some big stuff. They've been digging into the charity stuff, the boys. They've been going through the statements and stuff. So yeah, won't go too much on that. Anyway, this is my weekly recap. Monday, Gold Coast, 70 minutes easy, 4:42 pace. Hot, start at 7 a.m, way too late. Tuesday, the boys were doing a workout at that Pizzy Park. You ever worked out there before? Pizzy Park? You've seen the photos?
I've been there before.
Seen the
You been there, Moose?
Yeah, I've been there.
But not done a workout?
No.
What were you doing there then?
Ran past. I was in an Airbnb nearby.
Oh, were you? Yeah. It looks nice, but the grass track, and I often whinge about how shitty our grass track is, but theirs isn't much better. Like I thought a lot of the grass tracks were better than ours in Moama, but this one was pretty beat up as well. So get this, it was 5:15 a.m. warm up, and that was like the second option. The other group started at 4:45 warm up, boys.
What?
4:45. So I jogged.
Do they start work early up there or something?
I'm not sure what time they were starting work, but you got to get it done. Like, I felt like an absolute hero getting out of bed, like jogging to the workout, and then you get there and there's 50 people doing track workout. And
Is this the running company, the running club? What do they call it? Runco? Gold Coast Runco?
Nah, I jumped in with a few of those boys, but there was only like 5 of us. And then, yeah, like you had Chris Littlejohn, that bloke who stole my fartlek. He was up there. Matt and Jordan, they were there as well. But no, it was like a run crew was doing 400 metre reps around there. I didn't recognise anyone from that group, but they were just smacking 400s. So, but it makes you feel like you poor me, I'm up at 4 a.m. to do this workout, and then you get out there and you're like, oh, this is just the way it gets done up here. Start feeling a bit better about yourself. So we did a 2K threshold, then we did 2 mile reps on the track where we did 100 on, or straights, hard, bends, float. And then we had 90 seconds off and then did another 2K threshold at like 3:17s and then jumped back on the track for 400s in like 70 seconds with 40 seconds between. So that was with our good mate Jordo McLennan, boys. And this guy's name was Elaine Dutton, but his profile on Strava is Nelson Mandela. And he's got like a picture of Nelson Mandela as his like display picture and stuff. Not sure what's going on there. I went to look him up today. I'm like, I probably should know this guy's name. I did a workout with him, and it was all Nelson Mandela stuff. So, not sure what's happening. So much sweat though.
How many autographs?
No autographs, just there. Get the job done. Jog home.
Your high fives though?
So much sweat.
40 names dropped.
Just Jordo and I at the end. Just high five. Well done getting the workout done. He's coming back a bit. He's still stringing some training together. But just so sweaty.
Mile reps of 100 on, 100 float. That sounds terrible.
It was their workout. I just said, Jordo, what are you doing? I'll do that with you. I actually didn't mind it because, like, you just, I don't know.
That Jacko Elliott special?
I'd say so. I reckon Jacko coaches Elaine, and then Jordo was jumping onto Elaine's workout, and I was jumping on Jordo's workout.
Imagine doing that at 5 a.m. in the morning, Moose.
Nah, but 5 a.m. sounds like 10 a.m. And we're only doing them in like 16, 17 seconds, 100. Yeah. So
yeah, no, that's not for me.
Did 7K in the Arvo up there at about 6 p.m. maybe. Went up that Hedges Avenue where all the influencers are. Did
that concrete?
Yeah, like south of Broadbeach on those kind of back roads. When the path runs out. So you're just on the back streets.
Terrible fucking place to run.
Yeah, that's not great. But once you get to
on a camber as well through there.
Once you get Burley Heads, it's
how are those blokes defending that shit?
Nah, because I reckon you go further down. This is where we went on the Sunday, down like near Palm Beach and that.
Is it concrete footpath still?
Yeah. I didn't run on anything but concrete. Other than that grass track for like the week. Yeah.
Why don't we go on a training camp up there?
Do some concrete running. We'll be up there in a few weeks, Moose, or a few months. Live shows all booked in again. Wednesday did 90 minutes out and back. Listen to that Brian Beckstead, Moose. It was good, wasn't he? I forgot about that. Yeah. I was always tempted to buy some of those shoes. When I get paid next week, I might purchase some, I reckon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he sold it to me.
Well, what did you like about it?
Well, I like about the fact that my ankles at the moment are feeling shit because everything I run in is so high stack. And I'm like, I've got to get back in. And I used to always, like, we have some beautiful grass ovals here that they just pump water out of the river onto. Like, I always used to run, like, just a 10 or 20 minute easy at the end of the workout, or, you know, jog to the oval for 10 minutes, run barefoot for 10 minutes. Like, I'm like, Brian gets it. And that's why he's designed a shoe to, like, support it. I feel we are just overdosing on high stack shoes.
I'm actually with you. I'm sick of seeing the industry just pump out high stack shoes and not consider any alternative to it. That's the most frustrating thing. Keep the high stack shoes. Give us another option as well.
Yeah, and there's something about listening to a guy who's just so passionate. Like, sponsored content, but it didn't sound like that in a way. Like, that was just a fantastic chat, I thought. Like, and he just sounds like a great bloke. And, yeah, when my paycheck from Echuca Primary School comes in next week, I reckon I might buy a pair off you.
I'll chuck some Nova Blast in for you. Used.
Yeah. One with 500Ks already in there.
Black and blue one sitting in the exact same spot you left them.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Thursday was back in paradise at Echuca Moama. Did 70 minutes in strides. Friday did a workout, 4 by 8 minutes at 3:20 pace, 90 seconds between. And then the end, I just did like 4 by 30 seconds on, 30 seconds jog. Feeling fitter, but my threshold is still like that 3:20 pace, which is kind of like the pace I want to run a marathon at. So I've got some work to do. Did 30 minutes in the Arvo there. Picked up a couple of slabs from you, Moose, at the local Dan Murphy's. Thanks for paying your debt, which was good.
I still don't know about that, but I'll pay him. But I don't know about it.
Croaks, this is one of those situations where I need two voices against one.
Oh, I don't know. Like, there was...
Yeah, don't know.
I don't know.
I reckon he's been a bit stiff here, stitching me up with these slabs.
Long-time listeners, I need someone to go in and find the episode where Moose and I had a bet that Jess Stenson would make the Olympic team. And then I know at the Gold Coast live show, I said, of course she did. And then I said, double or nothing, she'll be the first Australian across the line. And Moose agreed to that.
Don't think I agreed to it. But anyway, I'll pay the slab just because... Like, I respect
only 6 months late, but yeah, good.
I'll pay it, but I don't... I'm just not sure on it.
Lucky you hassled him the week of that Hoka thing. The Hoka deal got you the cases of beer.
He's like, I can part with $100 easy for a couple of slabs here.
Just to shut him up.
I do like that function where you can order beers to other people's Dan Murphys. Like, that's good function.
Yeah, I know. Got a slab coming to my joint, just as you do too, Brady.
Yeah, Jordan O'Donnell owes us a few slabs.
He does. He's been making some dumb calls in a message thread, and we've been calling him out on it and winning slabs off him.
Yeah, easiest bloke to win beer off because he just has those, like, OAC, like, glasses on. Gamble responsibly. Sunday, 2 hours and 15 minutes, 4:20 pace. This is the first sign I got a bit of fitness. Had Archie's brother Oscar and his dad Anthony on the bike as well. Felt good. So that was a week of 157. I'm fitter now, boys, than I was before I had the week off. Just got to keep stringing these together. Do the training to be able to do the training.
Yeah, you're still better than us at the moment, Brady.
Yeah, feeling all right too. Feel like ankles, as I said before, just like feel stiff and a bit of Achilles stuff, but I'm trying to be selective on what footwear I'm wearing and just stay away from some high stack stuff.
I'm not sure about the Achilles stuff going to the low drop stuff.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it together.
Okay. Yeah, give me some tips of what to buy. When I buy those ultra ones, sell me something else that might be good for my Achilles.
All right.
It's just like, 3 minutes in, you're like, geez, my Achilles is a bit sore. And then 10 minutes in, it's fully gone.
Dose Max 2, mate. Do your long runs in them.
Oh, yeah.
4-minute Ks.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've got them still sitting there. I was wearing those to work. They were quite comfortable. And mine are black on black. Is that your colour?
Mine are black.
Yeah, so you wear that with black socks.
Mine are pretty much cooked. Mine are cooked now. I've done probably 700K in them.
Let's thank
700.
700k.
I reckon close to it.
At
Oh, well, I'll be
4 minute
getting a
pace
call.
moves.
I'll be getting a call from Croaks this week too.
Both of us guys, yeah.
Hello.
With Australian marathons selling out in record time in 2025, the McLaren Vale Marathon has your back. Choose from the full marathon, half marathon, 10k, 5k or free kids dash. There's a run for everyone at South Australia's premier marathon event. This year's race has moved to the 1st of June, so you'll enjoy slightly cooler training block than for an earlier autumn race. The event also has moved to a new venue in the heart of McLaren Vale to bring you a more vibrant atmosphere around the race start and finish, and course improvements will see all distances run on 100% sealed roads through the vines with less elevation change than in previous years. There will also be paces to help you hit your target time in the marathon and the half marathon, and the day will also feature the Athletic South Australia 10k Road Running Championships, so there is sure to be some hot racing at McLaren Vale. As well as its world-class wineries, the region boasts pristine beaches, fine dining, forest and trails, art galleries and other attractions to explore. Come for a run and explore so much more. Head to mclarenvalemarathon.com.au for race information and to register. Let's thank some Patreon supporters, and then I've got big Patreon news coming up as well. Who you got, Croaks?
I got Liz Paul. So Liz is from Nelson Bay, so just north of Newcastle, and I actually coach Liz. And speaking of where people can send orders to local Dan Murphy, so before I was coaching Liz, she reached out in the lead up to Gold Coast, maybe like a month out, and just said, "Oh, can I have a quick chat just to, chat a few things?" And then I was like, "Yeah, no worries." And then she basically said, "I'll go to your Dan Murphy's. There's something there for you." So, and then I don't know, maybe 6 months later, I started coaching her. So she's run 1946 at the Stockton Park Run, 43:34 for 10K, 94 minutes at last year's Lake Macquarie Half Marathon, and 3:28 at last year's Southwest Rocks Marathon. She's training for Ballarat Marathon and wants to qualify for Boston. So I think she has to run, I think it's under 3 hours 30. She's a firefighter, so does well to fit in all of her training around a very demanding job. So she's pretty much like 4 days on, 4 days off sort of thing.
Mate, government job.
Yeah,
4 days on, 4 days off.
They work for 24 hours though for the last 4 days.
It's like 24 hours, and it's
2 days on, and then they sleep for 2 nights.
You'd last. How long do you reckon Moose would last as a firefighter?
Not long.
Longer than Kane Corns, you reckon? Cornsy.
Set you up well there, didn't I, Moose?
Nah. Look, they sleep a lot. These crew, these firefighters.
Yeah.
They're there every second. 4 days off. They can sleep at night, train like a professional. Then they work 2 days. Then they sleep 2 nights.
Yeah, I don't know. I reckon you're selling her a bit short there. But anyway, she's she's in Indonesia on a surfing trip at the moment.
Oh,
on
tough
holidays.
life. Must be nice, Liz.
Heard of
We'll
annual
pay
leave?
that.
Heard of annual leave, Moose? Anyway, thanks for your support, Liz. Don't listen to Moose.
Who you got, Moose? Thanks, Liz.
I have Lloyd Harriet. Strava says he's from Anglesea, but it looks like he's living on the Gold Coast now. Unsure how you can go from living in the greatest paradise on earth to the Gold Coast, the urban jungle. But seems like he's done it. Has run 15:58 at the Bay Fives track meet, 33:31 at last year's Queensland 10K champs, 75:13 at the 2021 Great Southern Half, and 2:34 at last year's Berlin Marathon. Think he might be an engineering lead at Stantec, global leader in sustainable engineering, architecture, and environmental consulting. So Lloyd, the name rings a bell, but I don't recognise Lloyd from Anglesea. Most people are a lot younger than I am now down here, so that's probably why.
I think he does a bit with Gold Coast Run Co. up there.
Oh, best blokes in the world, Croaks.
He wasn't there last Tuesday. I'll give you that tip. Missed out on seeing up there.
You'll never meet a better bunch of blokes.
He might have been there for the real early morning shift, Brady.
They were finishing up when we got there. I still saw all those boys. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Lloyd, for your support of the Inside Running podcast, though. I'm going to thank Finn Crether from Lennox Heads, New South Wales. He runs for the Byron Bay Runners, and he's got some quick PBs, boys. 8:49 for 3K, 15:10 for 5K, 32:39 at last year's run pre-10K, and 74:33 at the Gold Coast Half Marathon. So a bit of a speed guy, isn't he?
Yeah, faster dude.
I think he's fairly young as well.
Yeah, he'll take a bit off that half. 10's still pretty good. 10 kind of stacks up, not too bad. But,
I haven't been to Byron Bay in years, but it sounds like there's some good running culture developing there.
Yeah, got a grass track as well, Byron Bay. Well, they did back when I was there last. Out on that road to get in there.
There's like the lighthouse area, but is there any good long run spots there?
Well, I think you got to go over the lighthouse, don't you? Like that side. I think there's better running like south of the lighthouse.
I don't really know. I haven't been there years, but yeah, never run when I went there.
It was all concrete when I was there too. Patreon.com/Inside Running Podcast if you want to support the show. If you think the amount of content we put out in a month is worth $5, you can chip in to keep us alive each and every week. We also have a level of bonus content. So we've been putting our heads together. We have a bit of a rotation for the bonus content coming up. The boys told you about the Inside Running Podcast UK team of Aaron Scott, Dan Nash, who, by the way, boys, ran 200k last week and got announced on the elite field for London Marathon, and Matt Klaus. So those boys, expect them once a month. We've given them full creative. They'll send us an MP3. We'll put it out there when it drops. We've also got a new bonus content show, Shoe Geeks, but it's a Patreon Q&A with Moose and potentially Bree sometimes as well.
Together.
Well, you can do it together if you want.
You put me in with Bree.
Well,
Dream team.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Not sure how that's going to go. We might have a host asking you the questions as well, but we do get a lot of shoe-related questions for listener question, but we understand some of them are quite individual. So it's hard to put them in the main episode. Whereas this, anything you send in, Moose is answering. So there'll be a link, put your questions in, bang, that's going to be an episode once a month as well. You'll get the monthly with Chriso and Toby. I'm actually trying to get myself off that show. I'm dealing with the legal team of a brand at the moment, trying to get one of their past employees unmuzzled to be able to be on that show. But we're just trying to get a bit creative there to be able to make that happen. So those boys, you'll be able to hear them once a week. Then we've also got the Road to Berlin boys, because Paddy Stowe has got a marathon locked in at Osaka in 5 weeks, and they're all racing something at the Ballarat Marathon as well. So that's Paddy Stowe, Rob Wilson, and Jimmy Friend. They'll be in a rotation on a month. And then we've also got, I'm hoping to get this one locked in soon, some like high-profile women marathoners who have got big marathons coming up. That one's still in the works, but leave that one with me, boys. So Patreon content. Not all that's coming at you once a week, but throughout a month, it's just going to be sprinkled in there. Plus you'll get everything early. So I'm looking forward to listening to some of that stuff. It's going to be really good. Anything to add there, boys?
Nailed it, I reckon.
Good stuff. Get those ladies going, though. That's where the action's at, I reckon.
Yeah.
I mean, we love Clousey, but fuck, those ladies, they're going to do some special things coming up.
Yeah, that's the one I'm still moving chess pieces, trying to lock in. But anyway, more news on that next week. I think the UK boys are actually recording this week as well, so expect that one this week. Running news, big ups to Axel Coffee for bringing you this week's race results. Grab a free small coffee at Axel Coffee Richmond on us by completing the Axel Coffee Strava segment. Head to axelcoffee.com.au/run for more details, or find Axel on Strava. This was the big news of the week, Moose. Houston Half Marathon. This is where we're winning slabs, the big hype with the Sidious Mag documentary. Did you get time to watch that? You're probably too busy.
I actually put it on. When late one night we were waiting, I was, stuff was going on. I'm like, I'm just going to sit down and watch this. It was good. I liked it.
Did you like the narrator?
Yes.
You did?
I did.
When I first heard it, I'm like, I'm not sure that fits this format, but then I loved it as it went.
It felt like I was watching a National Geographic or something.
Yeah.
It felt formal, and I liked that. And I thought about it at the time thinking, it's different, it's good. It's making me feel like this is big production here.
Yeah, some great footage in there as well. So obviously first step was based around Klecker and Mantz, and then the second one was Clayton Young. Yeah.
I haven't seen the second one.
I haven't seen the second one either.
Yeah, so the second one, Mantz isn't in it because they pretty much show him cross-training because he's injured. And then I was like, oh, have they pulled in Clayton Young because Connor Mantz is like, hey, I might be out of the race here. I'm injured. To kind of put his storyline against Klecker. But then we saw the results and it's like, Connor Mantz was fine, guys. Just goes out and breaks the American record.
Thanks for ruining it for us.
Oh, mate, spoiler alert. The race happened. You know what, yeah.
I want to watch the episode.
You meant to watch it before the race.
Cross-training.
Yeah, cross-training by the sounds of it.
Yeah, well, probably should go and have a look at that.
Results, Moose, though?
Oh, yeah. Well, very tight at the front. So Connor Mantz, American record, 59.17, basically sprinted across the line, had a little battle with Addisu Gobena, who also ran 59.17. They gave it to Addisu. Look, I haven't seen the tape finish. What do they call it? Photo finish. I haven't seen that. I'm not sure they do that at road races. Photo finish.
I haven't seen it either. Have you seen the finish, Brady?
No, I haven't seen the photo of it. Like, I've seen the video footage, but it's got him on the side, but then it cuts to front on, so it kind of doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah, the photo. It looks like they're in a wrestle over the finish line.
Yeah, he looked like he was done, but then he kind of come back again.
Yeah, okay. I haven't seen the video,
but anyway,
he doesn't give up, does he?
He looks like he's like, it doesn't matter what race he's doing. He looks like he's like sprinting from the gun of every single race he does, even if it's a marathon. Yeah. The way that he runs.
It doesn't look smooth.
No, but it works for him.
He's got that real pace. Yeah. Gabriel Guillet was third in 59.18. I reckon Guillet came out to the Sydney Marathon a couple of years ago.
Correct.
He was the big dog out there that year.
Adidas boy.
59.18 for third. We had some Aussies out there. One of them, DNF, no good. Paddy might have been sick during the week. Pat Tiernan. Morgan McDonald is now the fourth fastest Australian of all time. He ran 60.58 for third place.
13th place, Moose.
Oh, 13th. Yeah, sorry. I missed that one. Now, that's huge, I think, for Morgan, because pretty much all our top runners have run a half marathon at some point. If you consider who's run a half, some haven't run marathons, but I reckon most of those 10K guys have run a half marathon, and he's stepped up and run 60.58. So that is, I mean, he's run faster than Andy, Brady, your boy. Morgan's just jumped in front of him. We like, how are we feeling about that down in Bendigo?
Andy's got Maragami coming up, so it'd be interesting to compare like notes, like 2 weeks apart.
Feb?
I think it's 2 weeks away.
2 weeks, okay, cool. That will be good.
I also have the opinion that Andy probably doesn't care much about the half marathon as much as the marathon.
He's a marathoner.
Yeah,
he's more suited. The longer it goes, the better he gets.
Yeah.
You reckon that's going to kind of spur on some thoughts of the marathon for Morgan, to seeing what he did there?
I still think he's predominantly track for a little bit longer, like mainly the 10K.
Yeah,
because I heard somewhere that he was sort of using this period as like a real big strength block, and then sort of use that strength to then come back down and run well over 10K, hopefully.
Seems a little fragile for the marathon, doesn't he, at this point?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like,
training.
He's done well to string this together, the training, and then get a 60.58, go to fourth all time, and then drop back down.
I wonder, though, what gets him injured, whether he gets injured from a lot of the intense stuff or whether he gets injured from the volume stuff. And if it's the volume stuff that he can stay healthy on, maybe it is worth that move up. Because if he can string together this base block, this strength block without niggles, and then he transitions back to track work and all of a sudden he's pulling up lame, getting these long sort of 3-month type injuries where he's taken time off and it's just ruining his career basically. Maybe he's best off just pushing the distances out, training differently.
Did you guys see any of his YouTube videos in the lead up to this race?
No.
So he had a niggle. So he was away from Boulder on New Year's Eve. So him and his girlfriend Cinta went away up to like Vale, I think, for like a few nights. And while they were up there, he pretty much like his back just like locked up on him. So they actually had to come back on New Year's Eve, to have an MRI because obviously they were thinking the worst. And then, so basically came back and it was like a bulging disc. So he ended up missing sort of like, I suppose, a week of training at the start of January because of this back complaint. So it wasn't all smooth sailing for Morgan.
Interesting. It's not good, the disc stuff.
No. But obviously I got over it and ran well.
In the ladies, Senayet Getachew ran 66.05 to beat Weini Kelati with another American record. Did she take her own American record here?
Yeah, she already held it.
Yeah, 66.09 for that second place and record. And Buzi Deriba Kajela ran 66.48. Now, sixth place was Lauren Ryan, our 10K record holder, was fourth Aussie all-time as well this time, got her, 68.43. So now she's faster than all the Australian marathoners, current ones. She's faster than all the Australian 10K runners right now as well. Big run from Lauren. I didn't expect it. She's really coming out of, I don't know, she can pull it out, can't she? She can have a great race and then she can have a dog's race, like a dog's breakfast race. And then she's very up and down.
I feel like she's getting more consistent. I feel like she's getting more
bad ones, does she?
Yeah, I feel like she's getting more consistent now, though. Although she didn't win Zatopek, I wouldn't say that was a poor result. Like she was, like when you're trying to beat Rose, who's running 61 seconds for a last lap, like she was there or thereabouts. She ran well she ran well in one of her races at the Olympics, and I guess she's only run one other half marathon, which I don't think was a super quick course anyway. So
is it 72 or something?
Yeah, something like that. But I don't think it was a very, very quick course. I think it was the Boston half.
Yeah, hilly one.
Yeah.
So Karen
Maybe I'm being harsh then.
Karen's the record holder. Who are the other two in front of her?
Benita's probably in there.
Oh yeah, there must be one other than if you said none of the current girls are there, Moose.
Oh, I just said that. That doesn't mean I'm right.
Yeah, Ali told you that in that same group chat, didn't she?
I can't think of anyone from the current batch who's quicker than that.
Did Nikki Chappell run a quick half?
Ooh,
yeah, Nikki Chappell.
I reckon you've done it there.
Yeah, Nikki Chappell.
I'll double check.
You've got it now.
That's
Stop
good
gloating.
from you. Very
Stop
good
gloating
from you.
with the whole double check thing.
Because all those other ladies are between that and 69, aren't they? Like 69. What, Leanne ran 69.01?
Lisa's 68 high.
Yeah. Is Ali dipped under as well? And Sinead?
69.11 or something.
Okay. Did Sinead get under?
Didn't go under, I don't think.
Okay. I thought they were close. I thought they were maybe 68 high. And then those girls at Melbourne this year were pretty much 69 flat, weren't they?
Yeah, but Lisa was under.
This was the discussion
yeah,
that's right. We had this discussion on the monthly as well. Like, is it untouchable because our Australian ladies rarely run fast half marathons? So it's so Lauren's proved it wrong here because I'm talking about is the record untouchable because she's based in America and she has access to the Houston half marathon.
It was a good point you guys made. I think Chriso made it, not you. But it was
I was
about
facilitating the conversation.
How they're not in Europe when the big stuff happens.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, when you think about Rose Davies, who could potentially be the one to have a real crack with Lauren, she trains for the track when the road races are on, sort of. And she's if she does a half, you would think that it would be like almost a novelty event. Over here.
Well, they
like
come
an
home,
Australian-based
don't they?
one.
They're not in Valencia to do the half marathon in Jan or whatever.
And they're not in.
Oh, I was just going to say, Moose, like that being said, like Brett broke an hour at Marigami. And, a lot of our top Aussie girls go to Marigami. So I think there's a chance that, on the right day with the right field that they can do it in the Southern Hemisphere.
Shit is right again here, Bruce.
I don't know, though, because it's late Jan here. And they're on a different schedule to the rest of the world, I reckon. Like, I know,
yeah. Oh, but if you've come off a Zatopek in December,
they're not training for Zatopek.
Go for Falls Creek for 3 or 4 weeks. Then go smack a quick
I reckon
half.
Zatopek is an afterthought. It just falls early. I reckon we need to push Zatopek. That's my thing. Push Zatopek out to like just before they go away. Just like Zatopek should be. When do they start to head off? March?
April.
Yeah, like chuck it in after Nationals. Do the 5K week before, then do a Zatopek in early April.
Could be onto something there.
Actually, boys, I was wrong. Wasn't Nikki Chappell. It was Susie Power.
Oh, Susie. How did we forget
gross.
Susie?
Fuck,
So you've
mate.
got, and Japan's in the northern hemisphere, isn't it? I said southern. So we've got Karen at
Having a nightmare here, Brady.
67.48, Benita 67.55, Susie 67.56. But Benita's and Susie's were both at the Great North Run, which is a downhill course. Then you've got Lauren, and then you've got Lisa Ondieki, 68.33, Nikki Chappell, 68.37, and then Lisa, 68.48, Sinead, 68.50.
Oh, Sinead did go under.
Yeah.
My bad. Geez, we're all having shockers here.
We're in the ballpark, but these times when you're between running something in the 50s and then O's, if you get those wrong, that's big consequences. Because you're a 68-minute lady if you run under. Okay. There's a bit going on there, Croaks.
Yep. Good from Lauren, though. Good from Lauren. WA 5K champs also happened on the weekend. Max Shervington ran 14.05 for the W, beat Dan Canala, former South Australian, 14.08. And Dean Menzies, our mate, 14.20, the marathoner. Still kicking around on the track, still doing good stuff, being fast. In the ladies' race, Sian Munks ran 16.45, Amy Buckingham 17.25, and Brittany Moore 17.45.
Very good. I've got the Tasmanian 5K champs as well here. Moose, Jacob Gardner got the win there in 14.55, and Beth Allen got the win in the females in 17.33. And the other bit of news that Croaks has given me is the London Marathon Elite Fields. And it feels like money is not an issue for the London Marathon, because the women's field is incredible. So I think Getachew was actually the number 1 seed, wasn't she, Croaks? I know you got her in 4th here because you're listing by PBs, but I think because she's the defending champion, they put her as bib number 1, or they put her on the top of the announcement.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Just the website that I used there, I just basically cut and pasted the, rankings on times.
I think they do, because the one I saw, it looked weird because she's ran 2:16, but then Ruth Chepney-Getich was listed underneath her with 2:09, and I was like, that's weird. But then I was like, oh, it's because she's defending champs. So those two big dogs are there. You've also got Tiggs Asefa, who was 2nd at the Olympics, to Safan Hassan, who won the Olympics. So 2:11 and 2:13 PBs there. Jocelyn Chepgozgai. You've probably got another 3 or 4 Africans, I'm not going to read them all out, who have broken 2:20 before. The UK announced Charlotte Purdue's going to be there, 2:22. See, she's jumped over to Puma as well, boys, from Adidas. And Alicia McCoglin is making her debut. I feel like she was listed to do her debut in the past, but she got injured, didn't she?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so she'll be there as well. The men's field, this was Sarway, who just won in his debut. He won Valencia. You got Kiplagat. You got Matuso. These are all like 2:02, 2:03 guys. You got Tola, the Olympic champ, 2:03. Also won New York a couple of times. Nagy, Olympic medalist in 2:04. Our man from Norway, Sondre Moen, 2:05 guy. We had you haven't even put the Australians in here, Croaks. It's a bit rough on those, boys.
We've already discussed them, though.
We announced those? Okay. And then, so they went with the field. Well, I like how they do this. So they've gone, these are our UK elite guys. Here's our elite field the next day. So they give their UK guys the first crack at it, which I like, the locals. And then they release the elite men's field. But then the day after, or 2 days later, go, hey, we're also adding Kipchoge to that. Like, just gave him his own separate announcement. What'd you think, boys? The goat.
Kipchoge's on the farewell tour here for sure. Like, you boys aren't seriously think he's coming in the top 5.
Not in this field anymore, nah.
Which sort of surprises me that he gets, like, it almost makes it worse, I think, having like a separate announcement for him. Like, I know he's the big dog, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to be the big dog here. Yeah, I don't know.
Also, he was talking about, I'm going to win all the majors. And then he went to Boston, got destroyed on the hills. And it's like, and then he went to Paris, also got destroyed on the hills. Well, obviously had an injury. And now it's like, oh no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just going back to run flat paced races, which I understand money but he could have
went. They pace London though? London's
yeah, they pace. Yeah, because they got their special singlets. You know how they wear the prison bars?
Yeah.
And they put their own logos on them. Yeah. So, yeah, big field. Alex Yee making his debut. Jacob Kiplimo, didn't even say him. He's making his debut, best half marathoner in the world. Emil Caress, fourth at the Olympics. You got Cripper, Italian. This is the night of Ballarat Marathon, boys. This is going to be huge.
We have mentioned, haven't we, Brett, Jack, and Andy? Like, I'm sure we've mentioned it.
I don't remember.
Or was that on maybe like a the monthly or something?
We went early on that one with the monthly, yeah. So Brett Robinson, Jack Rayner, Andy Buchanan. I do love at the moment too because they're all up at Falls Creek. So like Andy's just taken that like crown, hasn't he? Have you seen like he'll upload his run? It's like 38k, and then like Brett Robinson will run like 30k, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, he's just flexing, my boy. Didn't do the traditional long run yesterday. Did you see that? They all went and did the loop. Andy's like, nah, hold my beer. I'm doing my own loop today, boys.
Where'd he go?
It looks like he just did an out and back. You can look it up on his Strava. But like, yeah, I know like they're all friends and stuff, but imagine being Brett Robinson and being like, I've lost my Australian record. Me and you are signed up for the same race. How far are you going today? 38k. Oh, I'm stopping at 30k. Like, I don't know how well. He's got the dog in him. I don't know how well that would sit with him. That he's not. I'd be like, no, okay, I'm also doing 38k then.
Yeah, he's been through some challenges though, Brett. He's not a young pup anymore.
It's 14 weeks away too.
He's seen the young'uns come up. Probably not one with the marathoning strength of Andy before, but I'd say like there'd be every young punk has a crack at him on a Tuesday, every Thursday, every Saturday, every Sunday. There'll be someone taking a pop at him. So I reckon he's probably learnt pretty well how to just fend that off.
Yeah, play the long game, get it done in 14 weeks' time. So
Just
that's London. Get excited.
One thing with, well, I do get excited, Brady, but one thing that I find disappointing with London is they, obviously money isn't an issue, and they get all of these top names, but often half of them are injured. And they rock up. Like, was it last year? That girl pulled out within 2 kilometres.
Bridget Cosgrove pulled out the first roundabout.
Yeah, you're like, okay, you've signed this person, they're there, but they're adding nothing to this race. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the same. It's like, okay, let's get all the fastest girls that we can, but it doesn't mean it's going to be a great race.
When you get that many, though, it's probably still going to turn into a great race because you only need 70% of them fit.
Yep. Yeah.
The women paced by men at London?
No. It's women's only. Yeah.
They have women's pacemakers, though, don't they?
Oh, how are they going to do that? One of them's run 2:09.
Yeah, they do, Brady, but often it's for the slower packs.
So the lead pack is like a race.
Well, because remember, like Sinead was winning it.
Yeah, because they were going slow.
So they obviously weren't having like super quick like paces at that day because she was well in front.
That was a different era, Croaks. That was a different era then.
Yeah,
They were getting those races were still getting won in 2:20 something.
Yeah, but they weren't being paced. Like they weren't being paced for fast times back then either. Often because you can't because any girl that can pace it's in the race.
No, but what about this this lady who just rewrote her American record? Like 66-minute lady, probably. Oh, yeah. She running marathons? She runs marathons too, doesn't she?
Yeah, but 66 half marathon girl, that's 2:12, doubling it, and that's 3 minutes. What? 3 minutes behind the world record.
Yeah, but Bridget,
that's a PB.
I mean, but Ruth Chepney-Geddes didn't do that in women's only race. So, like, if this can get won in a women's only race in 2:13, 2:14, that's still going to be a women's only world record. Yeah. So she could get them through in 68, get them to 25k. Money's not an issue. Like, they can find ladies to get this race paced to 25, 30k.
I don't know if they will, though.
Well, it depends on what they
those
want.
ladies will be competitors of these girls.
Yeah, but money talks, Moose. Payson's a pretty big payday.
Mm.
Anyway, that was the London Marathon. Get excited for that, 14 weeks' time. Boston Marathon also went croaks with their announcement.
Yeah, I think may have been like the week before that, but both defending champions returned. So Helen O'Beary, so she's going for a three-peat, and only 4 people have ever done that before. Her main competitors will be Beresau, 2:14 runner, Ualaw, 2:16, Irene Cheptai, 2:17, Sarah Halls entered, Callie Thackeray, Emma Bates, and Lindsay Flanagan as well. Some of the big names there. And in the men's, Cisse Lemmer, he's a 2:01 man, and current champion. Got John Career, Evans Chibet, Daniel Matiko, Pat Tiernan, which I think we may have already announced, Connor Mantz, and DeCisa. He's rolling around again. Remember DeCisa? His PB's set back in 2013.
He was in the Breaking 2 Nike thing, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He has been around.
Oh, yeah.
Cashing in off that. So that's the Monday, and then London will be the Sunday. So if you're not in either of those races, that's all the big dogs. That's where they're landing. We don't have any Australian female marathoners in either of them. That's a bit sad, isn't it? We got such strong Australian women marathoners, but they're not there.
Yeah, I guess it's just easier. I guess Japan now is just an easier option for a lot of the Aussies, like especially because they're based here in their summer. So rather than have to head over to the US or the UK, just head across to Japan.
Those results and race announcements brought to you by Axel Coffee. Grab a free small coffee at Axel Coffee Richmond on us by completing the Axel Coffee Strava segment. Head to axelcoffee.com.au/run for more details, or find Axel on Strava. Want some whispers, boys?
Yeah, whispers.
Keep an eye out on national cross country. I'm hearing big whispers out of Athletics Australia, my friends over there, that they may have locked in a regional Victoria town for the next 3 years, which would be weird to go to the same spot for 3 years in a row. It kind of makes sense. Learn how to do it. Give it to those people.
Ballarat?
Not Geelong. Can't
Bendigo.
say.
Ballarat or Bendigo?
Well, Ballarat, so when you say, Brady, it's weird to have it locked in for 3 years. They've often done that with the cycling Aussie champs.
Oh, yeah, they have too.
So
Went from Ballarat over to Perth.
Yeah, Ballarat had them for a long time. And, this year they're over in Perth.
Yep. I did have you talk about parkrun numbers. We've done that. Expecting a big name female Australian marathoner who wasn't announced on the London and Boston to be announced in a race soon, boys. So play
Let's throw
around
out
with
some
that.
big name women. We got, who are our big name women now? We got Jen LaCars, pregnant.
Yeah. I'm going Jess
Stenson. We got Izzy Bat-Doyle.
Eloise Wellings is also pregnant, isn't she?
Has Izzy announced her marathon? Has she announced a marathon yet or not?
Sinead looks like she's training pretty well on those photos on the grass track.
Who are you talking about here?
I'm just whispering, mate. I'm just whispering. Ballarat Elite Marathon Field's come across my desk as well. Can't say anything about that yet. I've been muzzled, but boy, oh boy, there's some good stuff in there. Got a few like Falls Creek, Love Island things that I'm not going to entertain. Thanks to all the people sending them in, but we're mature on this podcast and we're way too old to be talking about different romances developing up on the mountain. And Sydney Marathon got the email, the press release today, boys. 79,083 people in the ballot. I know your wife got in, Moose. Mine did not.
79 for how many spots? 30,000 or so?
I don't know. I don't think they ever release how many spots actually for the ballot people and then how many's for like travel packages and charity and stuff like that. But I think the field's going to be 35,000. So I looked up the other ones. So 840,000 put in for London, 185,000 for New York, 331 for Tokyo, 160 for Chicago. Couldn't find the Berlin one. Am I missing another major in there as well? Maybe not. So 79,000, that's a good first up. Popular. That's
I reckon it's pretty good.
It's pretty good going. 79,000 people want to run your marathon. Considering about 3 years ago they had about 8,000 people. Mm-hmm. So that was I enjoyed digging in there. So that's what I got for Whispers for the week. Listener question, Bradley, what do we got this week?
Yeah, so this episode's listener question is proudly brought to you by Precision Fuel and Hydration, taking nutrition to the next level. Check out the link in the show notes for their free online planner to nail your fueling and hydration strategy, or even book a one-on-one consultation. Visit precisionhydration.com. Now, the question comes from Lachlan Bleaney. Would love to hear whether the boys can agree on how long runs should be. So easy/steady. So basically he's saying, should long runs be slow or can long runs be hard? And can we agree on it?
Need some definitions here. Need a definition of a long run? Let's just clarify a few things, then we can answer.
Well, okay.
Time on feet. That's an easy long run. Your goal is to be on your feet for 2 hours. Don't care what pace it is. Give me 2 hours. Finish it not being fully cooked. That's a definition of easy, isn't it?
No, not really. That'd be the definition of steady.
Steady?
Well, you want to finish feeling like easy should be easy. Let's get technical with this, Brady.
I was just saying that's what my definition of an easy long run would be.
My easy long run would be like conversational pace, heart rate for me would be below 140 or maybe around 140 max.
Yep.
Steady would be, okay, that hill, we're pushing up. There'll be some people drop back. We'll reconvene at the top. Then there's a next false flat, or we're getting going. We're going to put a little bit of a break in here. And the foot's just like out of gears. You're in third to fourth gear the whole time. Think of Croaks every Sunday.
Yeah. I'm definitely not fourth gear on a Sunday. Like the people I run with, we're still talking.
You can talk in fourth gear.
It's hard.
4 of 6.
I think a lot of it comes down to what you're training for. Like I think if you're doing 2 sessions a week, Tuesday, Friday, I think there's some license to get rolling a little bit on a long run. That being said, as soon as the long run starts to take away from your sessions, like in terms of if you're doing a long run on the Sunday and you've got a session on the Tuesday or the Wednesday and you're rocking up to those sessions and they're shit because you've run too hard on the Sunday, then that's no good. But I still think if you're a marathoner, learning to run at a decent pace on tired legs is beneficial.
Yeah.
Versus you're a 1,500 metre runner and say you're coming from the aerobic side, or let's say a 5K runner, and you're doing 2 hours on a Sunday. There's no real need, I don't think, to be pushing that like super hard because it's not as specific to your event.
Yeah, you got to look. But then you can think, okay, well, if I'm a marathoner and I want to run 3:10 pace for the marathon, how much benefit is me going out and running 4:40 pace for 2.5 hours? Am I getting much out of this? Or should I be using this run to fatigue the legs a little more, to get the fueling, like the metabolism, a little closer to what it might be on race day, just to prime the body a little more for a more sort of specific purpose.
So you're more on it's okay to run steady if you're a marathoner.
Yeah.
On a long run.
Yeah, I am. I'm pushed towards steady on a long run the majority of the time.
God, I wish I was talking to this moose when I was copping shit about the pace of my long runs for the last 5 years.
I think you can only do that though if you've graduated to that level. Like so,
Yeah.
So I'm at the moment just
Yes.
I just want to do. I've done 4 weeks now of 2 hours plus, and I don't really care what the pace is, but I want to get to the end of it going. Okay, I've probably got an extra 20 minutes, half an hour in me, all good. Heart rate average is 135. And then I want to do that for 6 weeks. And then I go, you know what? I'm going to start rolling some of these at 405, get them going a bit. And then I'll probably start chucking hills in there as well. Because then you can start going to like 20, 25K tempo runs in your marathon block and be like, okay, this distance isn't worrying me because I'm, like what we said before, doing the training to be able to do the training to do the training.
Yeah. Here's what I would do different. Start with putting the hills in. And then progress to the 405s.
Yeah. And then you'd
I
probably
would
get
switch them around.
You'd probably get to a point where you're probably gapping 405 over the hills as well.
yeah, it just becomes a steady run for you.
Mm.
Like the hills create steadiness without you increasing pace, really.
And you roll off them, don't you? Like when you're fit and you run hills strong, all of a sudden, like when you're back on the flat, you're just sitting at 4-minute 4:05 pace, which I reckon you do a lot of that, Croaks.
Yeah, but I think when you're not fit, you need to run, because if you're not fit, you're going out at 2 hours. It doesn't matter what pace you're going at for that 2 hours. By the end of it, you're actually pretty fatigued, and
especially in summer.
It's not steady, but you can't actually run it steady because you're fatigued anyway off 2 hours easy. And so for me, I knew that I was always ready to start rolling when I would get to 2 hours into a long run, and say I was only doing 2 hours for the week, and I'm like, I feel amazing. Like I could run for another hour. Mm. And at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to start to train like a little bit harder. The thing I love about a steady long run as well is it's, if you run, reasonably hard, you get to sort of an hour 45 to that 2 hour mark, and it doesn't replicate the back end of a marathon, but it does, I feel like, bring in a bit of that mentality of, like, I sort of want to, like, I could easily stop now, but you're sort of training the brain a little bit as well, of just pushing through a little bit of uncomfortableness. You just don't want to do that all the time. And for me, as I said before, the guide is whether your sessions are shit on the Tuesday or the Wednesday. Like if the long run is, taking away from those sessions, then you're running them too hard.
Mm-hmm. So we've kind of agreed here. It depends on the purpose of the long run.
Well, it should, yeah.
It's not a generic answer.
Yeah. What event you're training for, how fit you are at the time.
Yeah, what stage you're in with your fitness. Yeah. There we go. Good question, Lachlan.
I think that's the first time we've sort of all agreed on a long run pace, or like...
Getting old and mature here, Croaks. Just getting along.
So next time, if I'm somewhat fit and I roll a 4-minute K average for my long run and Moose gives me shit, can somebody just clip this bit and just send it in?
The problem, Croaks, is we never actually know how fit you are because you're too much of a pussy to race.
That's true.
Yeah, so well, this is where it comes up with you, Croaks, and like Rob Wilson. So you guys are doing your long runs with Cam Myers and you're averaging the same pace over the same course. So is he doing a easy long run and you guys are doing a steady long run?
Yeah, I asked him, actually asked Cam and said, how easy is this for you? He goes, well, for me, I feel like anything between 4 minutes and 4:30 is all the same. And so for him, it's like when he starts going like 3:45s or quicker, that's when he starts to feel like he actually feels like he's mechanically better at 3:45s than he is at 4 minutes to 4:30s, but he doesn't feel much difference between that 4s to 4:30s, but then he actually feels good running 3:45s.
Yeah, okay.
And like someone like Rob, so he's a bit of an outlier in that he's, similar age to me, like he thrives on the strength stuff, whereas he'll run with a guy who will beat him over 5K, but that guy will struggle on the long run, and Rob is just, doing it fairly easy. So that's the type of runner that he is. Oh,
and that's like that Patreon supporter we just thanked. Like you can see from people's PBs sometimes, like which long runs will be easy and hard for you. Was it Lloyd there? Was it Lloyd? Finn.
It was
8:49 guy, but then a 74-minute guy. Like you'd expect, 90 minutes for him at 4-minute K pace wouldn't be an issue, but maybe 2 hours at 4:20 pace and being out there for an extra half an hour might be.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends on what kind of runner you are as well. But it's a good discussion there, Croaks. Good discussion.
But also, I think there's been enough discussions around, like, although, for guys like Deke and Mona, it was like, yeah, we just do 2 hours on a Sunday. But I reckon they were definitely rolling. Like, they weren't just rolling 4:40s.
Oh, no.
Just time on your feet for 2.5 hours.
What do you reckon they were rolling? We'll never know, but what do you reckon they were?
I reckon Deep, I reckon he started off pretty conservative, but I reckon over the last half hour to an hour and that's when a lot of the really tough hills are. He would have been rolling pretty hard through those.
Fucking oath. Like even just seeing Mona when he was semi-fit coming back, where he was in like, let's say he was in Masters kind of world record shape for a few events. Though his goal was to beat everybody on that long run. He was, even if you didn't go off and smash him up a hill, he would be disappointed that you didn't do it to him, because that was just how it was back when he was doing the long runs. Like in Ballarat, there were some key hills on the long runs. We did 2 long runs that we alternated between every week, and there was key hills on there, and that was like where you see who was fit and who wasn't. And it was fast, and it was tough. There was no, let's just cruise up this one today, boys. There was like, let's get rid of these fuckers off the back as quick as we can, and let's see who's got the biggest balls halfway up to surge again.
Yeah.
And
you got to remember, those guys were also doing it off 3 sessions a week. So they would have done a session on the Saturday morning, and then probably took the first part fairly comfortable, but then got rolling over the hills. And even then, like, I think the type of course that you do on your long run in, because if you get to 2 hours and say it's been fairly comfortable up until that point, and you actually, because you still got some fatigue in your leg at 2 hours, even at a slow pace, then you start to get into the hills. Like, that's going to make the long run fairly tough versus having all the hills at the start and then flat at the end. So I think the terrain of the long run can also dictate how easy or hard it is, even if it doesn't look fast on paper.
You definitely want the hills towards the end.
Yeah.
I love the hills at the end. That's when you can get the hard effort without having to run fast. And I think that's good for you.
The new king, though, boys, Andy Buchanan. Rarely see a long run quicker than 4:15 pace from him.
Does he do Saturday sessions?
I don't think so. I think he's like a Tuesday, Friday. So, like, it's very comfortable. Like, you do a long run with him, he's not surging up the hills. Like, he'll run them like the pack can stay with him. A whole lot of kids, people like me, can stay with him.
There's many ways to skin a cat.
Yeah. Yeah. They go back to his Strava. You won't find many quicker than 4:15. I know you will from last weekend up at Falls. I've just went through. Don't screenshot me that, but just look at the last 5 years. There's not many in there. That was good, Croaks. That was good.
Yeah, so thanks to Precision Fuel and Hydration, Brady's relied on their products like the resealable 90-gram gel for his long runs, and plenty of elite athletes trust them too, including Olympians and ultra runners. Visit precisionhydration.com and use the code INSIDERUN2025 for 15% off your first order.
15% off, Croaks. Best product going around. Nutrition product.
Yeah, you swear by them.
You're not happy that they put my name in there, is he? Is he, Moose? He's fuming.
I didn't mention it. Oh, you didn't mention the second bit.
Yeah, I know. You cut that out. Probably not going to pay us for that ad now, Croaks. You've left that bit out. The podcast fastest marathoner since 2019 has relied on their products, like the reusable 90-gram gel. Hey, just stats there, boys. Do you reckon I should get like an NIL deal or something when they use my name like that?
I would have thought, though, like, why wouldn't they use the Olympians' names that they've supported rather than Brady has relied on their products?
I don't know.
Which Olympians they got, Croaks?
The guy's the slowest out of all 3 of us.
No.
But he's their pin-up boy.
They want people currently doing stuff, Croaks. Short memories. No one remember. You guys were doing stuff before the running boom happened, fellas. This new age they want.
Olympians.
Influential people.
Does Izzy use Precision?
Yeah, not sure she's got the same reach as I do, Croaks. But anyway, just running her up. Moose on the loose.
This one is slightly up your alley, actually, Brady, because you've been sort of pretty hard in this space lately. I've noticed it a little bit. The community leader out there, community run leader, we'll call it, who they're only in it, though, to build their own profile. Whether that profile relates to their business or their own desire to be a what they call them, runfluencers. They spark up the community stuff first, and then all of a sudden it just totally converts to a selfish type of promotion. Seen that before?
Yeah. Is it the chick? Yeah.
Is it the what?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, do you think people front load it, being like, because you're talking about like the charity runner more too, aren't you?
Oh, no, not really.
About?
I hadn't really mentioned charity runner. You could probably throw a few different charity runners in there too for this, but I'm talking about like
run club,
someone that starts a run club up, and it's like,
oh, okay.
But then all of a sudden, like, let's just say they get 50 people, but the run club leader, they got a meeting on that morning. So instead of having the run club, it's like, no, I'm not there. It's cancelled. Something along those lines.
All revolves around them.
Yeah. So it's like, if I'm not there, it's not happening. Like, I am doing this. This is me.
The ones that were originally standing on top of roofs of cars and on park benches, revving everyone up.
That's the most obvious example of it. And then they start selling their training program off it. Like, hey, I'm this person. I got a training program. You should buy it. Whether it's a training program, whether it's whatever, nutrition business or...
15% off this sleeping magnesium, use my name, stuff like that.
Yeah, they got a gym, whatever it is. But I'm just saying, like, it just becomes more and more obvious, I think, the longer the run club goes on. Run club can still be a very good thing for the community, like, and what they're doing can still help the community. But we all know how it started, why it started, and what the benefit is to that leader in that community is.
Yeah, is your intention to build a good run club, or is it to build your own profile? Is that what you're saying? Because I don't see this well, because I live in a town of like 3 runners.
Pretty much that.
Yeah, and then their profile grows, so then they get deals with brands and stuff as well. So then you become an ambassador for Nike or whatever.
Well, you just get attention, whatever that attention leads to, whether if that's what you want or if that's the runfluencing thing, I guess. But then there's also, like, does it lead to you selling your training program or whatever? And like, that's fine. That's part of your marketing plan. I get that.
Yeah.
That's actually
very smart.
It's actually pretty clever, yeah. I won't lie. This podcast is good for my business, so I do it. But I'll admit it, and I'll say, but I didn't start it for that. But it's good for it, and I don't feel like it's just a total promotion of the business the entire time, or like this podcast happens without us here. Like, if you go away, the podcast happens.
Yeah. And our intention when I was having this conversation with those boys on that podcast because they asked about it, and I said we started podcasting at an age where you did a podcast to be a podcaster, to create content on a topic you're kind of passionate about. Whereas now, if you're a celebrity or an influencer, now you have to start a podcast to be like, you've got a profile, it's just another way to promote your profile kind of thing. So our intention was always to just, talk about Australian distance running. And we've been doing it for 377 weeks. Whereas I feel like people now, it's like, I want to build my profile. I need to start a podcast. And then it's like, I get pissed off too when you see that then people will ask guests to come on the podcast. And it's like, you can kind of hear it in the interview that they're not really interested in that person. They're just interested in using that person's content to promote their own podcast to make their profile even bigger. And it's like, it's the point. Don't get me started on the social media running stuff as well. Like, it's the Wild West. It's like...
Do it. Go. I want to hear it.
Oh, we were just talking about it. Same thing on that other podcast. Like, it was... I feel like the running space at the moment is just who can get attention. And it's like the diehard or our elite runners might complain that they don't get deals or whatever, but then they don't produce any content. But then we've got people going, well, if the elite runners aren't going to produce any content, I'm not even that good at running, but I'm really good at producing content. I'll just come in and get all the eyes off the people interested in running, and I'll become a run influencer, and more people will know me than Brett Robinson. And it's like, then their content looks so good. And it's like, then you kind of got that charity component of like, because you never see anyone go, hey, I want to raise money for my local hospital. I'm going to go kick 1,000 goals at the local footy oval every day for the next 6 months. It's always running related. Have you noticed that? Like, you've always got to use the movement of running to then generate interest in your challenges, and which is great because raising money for charity. But I feel like sometimes then that comes into the social media algorithm, and then that's getting attention as well in this space. And it's like, it's all this one pool of content, and it's just people are dragging it in all different directions, I suppose. And it's, and I can't come up to the, my conclusion was, if I was one of those good guys getting, I don't know, anywhere between probably 70 and 100 grand a year, I'd just pay someone to do it for me, just be like, I need 1 reel a month. Can you come and do something for me? And not, because you need to produce something now in this day and age. But yeah, it's the Wild West on it. There's no rules as well. You just upload what you want, and we're all just in the running space. Makes sense? I'm lost. I don't know what's happening in there. Some of the shit I get sent in my algorithm on Instagram in particular, I'm just like, what is this?
Yeah. You know what's crept on now is that the OnlyFans girls have found running is like...
No, that's crept onto yours. That hasn't crept onto mine and Croaks'.
That's not on mine. That's just what someone told me. Toby told me that.
Yeah, Toby. That's
Toby
exactly right. But
yeah, let's probably move on now.
Yeah.
But don't talk about Toby's private life.
Anyway, good chat. I didn't know where you were going with that, but yeah, the intention of creating something.
You see, I start these, and it's really like you just want me to kick them off so you can get into them.
Well, you started saying like this relates to you, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know any of these run clubs.
Well, here's another one, and it's probably a little bit controversial as well. Getting back to like the charity runners.
Oh, Croaks, dangerous.
Yeah, we may cut it, but like, what percentage of these people that are running for charity are using the charity as a front, but are really in it for a lot of me time and to actually increase their popularity, their followers,
their personal brand,
to then benefit from that. But you can't have a go at those people because they're doing it for charity. I feel like it's a fine line.
I know, they got the magic cloak on, the untouchable cloak. As soon as you put the charity thing out, you're off limits.
You can't have a go at them. Yeah, even though deep down they're potentially doing it just for their own profile.
Oh, there's a couple on Instagram at the moment, and you'd know which ones they're. You know which ones. A couple of brothers.
Oh yeah. I thought that was a parody when I first saw that.
Yeah, I think it still could be, to be honest. I still haven't nailed it, but the last one I watched, I'm like, okay, they're taking the piss here. Like, this is actually good from them because it's so funny. But then you watch a little longer and you're like, hold on. And maybe they're just really weird dudes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's every person that does this for charity, but I'm sure there is a percentage that are doing it more so for themselves than them being actually interested in the charity.
And you're not talking about going to do Run Melbourne and raising money for Beyond Blue. Like, and that's where you're going to, hey, I've paid my entry. If anyone wants to chip in while I do this event, cool. It's like when you create an event around it, like you create a marquee event.
A look at me event.
Yeah, but you need the look at me to then raise the money that then goes to the charity. Like, that's how we are in the attention business. It's like, How do you get attention?
Yeah, but I feel like there's less look at me when you've just entered up for a normal fun run, and like you're not a runner, and you're like, I'm gonna slug my guts out for this half marathon, for Beyond Blue, throw me a few dollars. That's different to others that are like creating this full on event around them.
Yeah, but like on the flip side, we get hit up for charitable, like we get hit up to promote charity runs and to promote, look after people, sponsor, donate, all this sort of stuff all the time. And there are a lot of people who do this for a genuine cause and because something's happened. And like, for instance, our store, the Torquay store, helped support a guy who was running for Lifeline because his friend died by suicide. And you could tell this was something that meant a lot, and he really actually wanted to help. He wanted to draw attention to the cause, and the way to draw attention to the cause was through media attention. Media attention is what drew more people to appreciate what was going on. They heard the story, which was exposing this sad situation, and more people are becoming aware that Lifeline was an option and all this sort of stuff. So that you need that in order to get to the root of it all, which is why you're doing it.
Yeah.
There's just different. It's not everyone in the same boat. Not it's like everything. You can't just go, oh, you're this and you're this. It's like, no, it's like grey zones as well. There's probably some people that started out doing really honourable charity runs and got sucked into the limelight and now just a bit addicted to it, love it so much, love the attention. They're never going to be an elite runner, so this is their way to get recognised as a runner. And then there's some that just do it as a once-off because it's a genuine thing that like that they care about. It means a lot to them.
That's why it's a bit of a controversial topic, and it's a bit, people will, I guess, some people will feel offended by this chat, and we're not saying it's everybody, but there are a few people that are doing it for personal gain, not so much caring about the charity.
Yeah.
Your words, Croaks. Your words.
Yeah, I didn't say that, Croaks. That's you.
Good. We got going there. I think that was balanced. I feel it was balanced. Moose and I.
Just because you don't like hearing it doesn't mean it's not true.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Your words, Moose.
Your words, Moose. Direct all inquiries to Moose's Instagram account. What's coming up, boys? Special announcement. We've got a good new partnership starting up with the Ballarat Marathon and the Federation Uni there in Ballarat. We're going to be doing a Road to Ballarat podcast series, kind of like the Mizuno one we did last year to Osaka. It's going to be coming out publicly every Friday morning, every second Friday morning until race day. So on Wednesday night, I'm recording this. We do have one guest locked in for the whole series, and the third guest is going to be a rotating guest. And the first rotating guest is our man, Steve Monaghetti, boys. So I'm chatting to him on Wednesday night. They've got a cool list of people who are popping in throughout this, and we'll announce who the lock-in guest is. You'll hear about that on Friday morning when it comes out. Come out a bit earlier to Patreon as well.
I hope you put a shirt on for Mono Brady. I'll
put a shirt on, yeah. I'll have a shirt and tie on, I reckon, Croaks. When's that?
This is
Wednesday.
Average watching us, talk and listen to Wednesday. This absolute little weed on the other end of this camera.
Hey, where are you at with wolf whistles as well? Because, I got a couple when I was up in Queensland, and I was like, that's inappropriate for me to do that the other way. But then people doing it to me, that people, felt comfortable in that. I'm just like, I reckon 2025 we cut out the wolf whistles towards males.
Folks, don't laugh, because if this was the other way around...
Have I got a straight face?
Yeah, if this was the other way around and a chick said to us, hey, what do you think about wolf whistles? And we laughed at her, then that's not on.
That's the point, exactly the point I'm making, Moose. I wouldn't wolf whistle a female on the other side of the road, so I'm not sure if I should be getting wolf whistled on the Broad Beach bike path.
Croaks. Have a think about that, mate.
Croaks has been cancelled this episode.
Yeah.
How do you know it was targeted at you, Brady?
I was the only person there. I had to look around and thought, surely that's not directed at me. And there was
on the Gold Coast. You're the only person.
Yeah, a few people behind me. Yeah, maybe that's it, Croaks. But still, maybe they shouldn't have been wolf whistling the person behind me. Don't know. 2025. Let's cut out wolf whistling. What's coming up for you, Croaks? You going away? You having a few weeks off?
I'm going up just next week. I'm going up on Wednesday, up for a bit of concrete running.
Do you want a few weeks off the show, though?
I'm back I'm back Sunday.
He loves it, Moose. Whinges that he never gets a week off, but then won't take a week off.
A week off ever. Do you know if he takes a week off, he becomes irrelevant? Gone. Irrelevant.
My running's pretty irrelevant at the moment.
Right, well, you can have a week off if you want on, Croaks. I just don't want to listen to you whinging about not getting a week off.
I might save it, though, for a week when I actually am not around or want to go and do something different, something else.
But you're on the holiday.
No, well, I'm back on Sunday.
Back on Sunday. Moose, what are you doing?
I'm getting a scan. Excited for that tomorrow. Today. Fuck me. I got to go back to the vet. Dog got infected anal glands. So what that means is it's the stinkiest smell that you'll ever encounter in your life. Took him to the vet. Had to get put under because he didn't want anyone touching his ass or putting their fingers up there. 50-kilo German Shepherd, just trying to lug a dead weight around like that once he gets sedated. Oh, it's just so gross. It's just it's going to stay with me forever, that smell. So I've got to go back, clean them out again next week, on Friday, I think. Not sure whether to talk business too much. Gone to a shoe company that we don't stock on Wednesday, just to check out some product.
Oh, Adidas?
No comments on brands. There's many that we don't stock.
Brings it up, doesn't want to talk about it, Croaks.
Yeah, that was silly.
All right, boys. It's good to be back. See you later. That's episode 377.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah.
Whether you're a first-timer, chasing a new PB, or vying for a podium place, the McLaren Vale Marathon is the run for you on the 1st of June. With a new town centre race hub, beautiful course through the vines, award-winning wines and much, much more to see and do, South Australia's favourite destination race will not disappoint. Register today at mclarenvalemarathon.com.au.